Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. Now, normally we do this video for you every single morning wherein we catch you up on the latest happenings in the world of sport that you might have missed out on whilst you were getting some of that all-important rest. Because whilst you may need rest, I definitely do need rest and all of us really need rest. The fact of the matter is the world of sport doesn't really sleep. There's always something or the other that is going on in the world of sport that you may have missed out on. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. And believe you me when I say we're starting off with an absolute doozy of news. Now, we have been hearing more often than not that India are looking to head in a new direction for T20I cricket, and that new direction did involve a change of captain post the T20 World Cup 2022 debacle where India lost in the semi-final by 10 runs. The major changes were that India phased out a few senior players including the likes of Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul and of course Virat Kohli, and brought in a new captain in Hardik Pandya. However, it does seem like that is at least for the time being out of the window because the BCCI is now trying to convince Rohit Sharma to lead the team in the T20I format as well. And it is worth noting that Rohit himself is a bit on the reluctant side because he himself wanted to kind of stay away from T20 cricket, was okay with it, with okay not being considered because he wanted to focus more on Test and ODI cricket. But now the BCCI, the board themselves, are trying to convince him to lead the team for one very simple reason. Hardik Pandya's injury seems a bit long term. There is a bit of uncertainty as to when exactly he will be fit, and in fact there's every chance that Pandya will not play an international game prior to the T20 World Cup. He'll most likely make his return in the IPL. In that case, it does seem like the board wants someone who's a stable hand as far as leadership is concerned. Right now the team is being led by Suryakumar Yadav and he's done a decent enough job all things considered, but is he someone who's going to be a long-term captaincy candidate? Probably not. So the team want to ensure that Rohit Sharma, whose leadership during the ODI World Cup this year was pretty much praised throughout, they want him back in the lineup. Now of course you'd be asking what exactly that means for the likes of Virat Kohli and KL Rahul, both of whom have of course also been left on the sidelines as well. We'll do that video. We'll cover those details in another video, so stay tuned for that. For now, let's focus on more things that we may have missed out on overnight. One of the other things is that Gautam Gambhir recently spoke out on the fact that Rahul Dravid's tenure has been extended. We reported on Sports Today that it does seem like that is going to be only till the T20 World Cup as things stand, but that could change as and when things, let's say, it's something that's a flexible situation. Gautam Gambhir is very pleased with the fact that they have chosen to go with Dravid. He said that it's a good thing you've stuck with the same coach because the T20 World Cup is around the corner and you don't want to change the entire support star, and it's good that Rahul has accepted it. Hopefully we can continue to dominate and play good cricket, what India has done for a long period of time. The T20 format is different and challenging, and hopefully Rahul and the support staff can deliver. Congratulations to them. That is what Gambhir told news agency ANI. Now, of course, your opinion may differ or it may be varied in this regard. We've covered all aspects of it in our live dugout show yesterday. We've also done a video where we've done or looked at the numbers that Rahul Dravid has had when it comes to win-loss ratio across formats, as well as his success and failures in multi-nation tournaments. You can look at all that and make up your own mind as to whether or not it's a wise decision. But one thing you can't dispute is that the turnaround from one ICC tournament to another is very, very short, and maybe then it might not be the worst option in the world to stick with the continuity candidate rather than rip the script up entirely and start afresh. Another interesting story, this one not quite related to international T20Is but T20 cricket. Ravichandran Ashwin on his YouTube channel actually spoke of an interesting time where when he was the skipper of the Punjab Kings, Mumbai Indians wanted to engineer a trade deal of sorts, not for Ashwin but for a player that was playing for Punjab at that time in David Miller, and Mumbai Indians were very, very interested in bringing him to the lineup. And in fact, in a video that he's put out on his YouTube channel, he said that, look, when I was the Punjab captain, Mumbai Indians were showing a lot of interest in trading David Miller. In fact, they were willing to give as much money as possible, but I wanted a player trade-off as that is what the team would need, which they never came close to agreeing to. Now, that's a very interesting thing, as you've seen when it comes to Mumbai, especially with the way they've gotten Hardik Pandya back into the fold. When that team sets sight on what it is they want, they more often than not tend to get it. However, Ashwin was very wise in that regard, you can say, to say that, look, we're not going to accept an all cash trade. If you're going to be doing a trade, give us a player in return. Mumbai never came close to agreeing to that, and that is why David Miller never quite made the trip to the Mumbai Indians, although it would have been very interesting to see how exactly it is the team would have fitted him in that particular squad at that point in time, because again this was at the time when MI were a very dominant side. How they fitted in Miller, would Miller have made them more dominant? Who knows? They were definitely interested in having him. Another interesting bit of news, and this is in many ways related to the T20Is that have been going on recently. Rinku Singh has been one of those players who has quietly impressed whenever he's gotten the chance, coming in more often than not as a finisher. Comes in, he blazes a few sixes, does his job very well, and then goes back. It's something that has drawn him a lot of praise, that he's managed to so seamlessly transition from being an IPL star into becoming a good player for the Indian team. However, there's one person who's in a position of power right now as far as IPL teams are concerned, who believes that Rinku doesn't necessarily need to limit himself to being a finisher, and that person is Ashish Nehra, the Gujarat Titans coach. Now, he was speaking on, of course, the host broadcaster's digital streaming platform for the India-Australia series, and he said that, I think Rinku Singh doesn't need to limit himself to being a finisher. In fact, this is exactly what he said. He said, I'm not a big fan of the word finisher. Your opener can be a finisher if he scores 100 and then comes back. He can finish the game. At times, it can be harsh. Let me give you an example. If the same Rinku Singh doesn't finish the game once or twice. Now, he said that Rinku is someone who, the way he bats, doesn't need to necessarily limit himself to being a finisher. He's saying that he can even play up the order. In fact, Nehra sees him being able to play 50 over cricket going forward, where he could bat at 4, 5 or 6. Now, that's a pretty big, huge claim really from Nehra, but of course it is also worth noting that Rinku, more often than not, if you look at him in domestic cricket for Uttar Pradesh, which is his domestic side, he has often been a top order batter. He doesn't bat lower than 3 or 4. His finishing exploits is something that's been more of a recent phenomena. He tends to bat at 5 or 6 for the Kolkata Knight Riders, and therefore that has been the de facto position that he's been batting at for the Indian T20I team as well. But I do agree with Nehra, if given the chance, he might just very well be a very, very good top order bat as well. Switching our focus now from the world of cricket to the world of football, and there were some interesting results in the UEFA Champions League last night. You had Manchester United play out a 3-3 draw with Galatasaray that actually was compounded thanks in no small part to their goalkeeper Andre Onana, who had a couple of howlers, ended up pretty much conceding the game, although manager Erik ten Hag chose not to actually blame Onana for those errors. But Onana has been pretty error prone during his brief stint at United up until this point, and the worst part is that United drawing with Galatasaray pretty much means that they are all but out really at this point of the Champions League. It's not a certainty, they still mathematically are in with a chance, but they'll need to not only win but hope other results go their way as well. Not the best times to be a United fan, but I'm a Chelsea fan. What do I know about good times anymore? Another interesting game that took place in the Champions League, and one that actually confirmed, let's say, a lot of a qualification scenario. Inter Milan also played out a 3-3 draw with a 10-man Benfica. So impressive in many ways from Benfica to hold the fort and only ensure that they gave away a point. But Benfica are currently rock bottom in their group and have no chance whatsoever of qualifying for the next round. In fact, even qualifying for the Europa League would be a bit of a stretch for them. We'll end with a couple of news updates, let's say, from the Syed Modi International Badminton World Tour Super 300 tournament that is currently taking place in India, and unfortunately not good news in the early round so far, because Kidambi Srikanth, he lost in the first round to Chinese Taipei's Li Chiahao. He lost 23-21 and 21-8. So whilst he did show some fight in the first game, took it to sudden death. 21-8 in the second game. Whoosh, that is a dominant win for the Chinese Taipei player. Another player who ended up crashing out in the first round was B. Sai Praneeth, who was of course a seasoned campaigner, but unfortunately could not, let's say, make it into the next round. He lost 21-17, 21-15, to Kenta Nishimoto, and that was a 43-minute game, so it really was as dominant as they come from the Japanese player. Other two players who also unfortunately lost out, Samir Verma, was of course a former champion 2 times over in this particular tournament, and the defending women's single winners champion, that is Malvika Bansal. She too was knocked out of the tournament, and it's a bit unfortunate, but I mean that is just the way of the draw. And a racket sport like badminton, where the tournaments are always knockout from the first go, you can sometimes tend to have these issues wherein you'll see a lot of people get knocked out. But considering it's an Indian tournament and you're seeing so little Indian representation, of course there's plenty of representation, but they're all losing out in the first round. It's a bit unfortunate, but that is just the way it is. And thank you. That's it from us in this edition of the Morning Update with Sports Today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Really enjoy bringing you all of these updates. We hope you enjoy them too. And if you do, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTak app, and if you're already on the channel, well, go right ahead and check out some other videos we've done and stay posted through the day. We've got plenty more coming your way. For now though, from my side, it's goodbye.